Listen, it's the 2020s, and if you run a business, you already know that you need to be using social media to attract more customers. You need to stay engaged with your clients, you need to make more money, you need to keep making money, all the things. It's not that you should be on social media, you have to be on social media to stay competitive in today's market. And if you've even dipped your pinky toe into the world of social media, you also know how much of a challenge that can be on social media and to run that business at the same time, especially if you're a small business or a solopreneur. I'm Tony Tanner Scott, and I am a solopreneur and the business manager for a large YouTube channel, and I'm on a mission. A mission to do what? To create social media content, to launch new projects, to grow my business, all the things. Did I mention that I also have a full-time job? But before I get started, let me just say that even though I've been working behind the scenes on YouTube for years, filming videos has not been my thing. But what I'm doing is working to become better at it. And I hope that I can help you through my experiences if you're a business owner who needs to create content on YouTube or any other social media platform. So I'm the business manager for Raven Elise TV. She's on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, and she has outside business ventures. I work on strategy, I work on finances, I work on content, I help with organization and hiring, just to name a few things. And I'm the creator of a couple of courses for YouTube creators, and this involves regular coaching calls and all the things that go along with that. But besides a few YouTube live streams, I've never really created much content on my own. But that's about to change right now because I need to post more on social media to reach my goal of helping a lot more creators and entrepreneurs stay competitive in this game. But there's no way I can help them if they don't know about me and what I do. I know that connecting with my audience through social media is the fastest, most efficient, most effective way to do this. So the other day I was at lunch with the Raven Elise team and I told them all about my plans for the next few months, which is between now and the end of the year, I'm going to be launching a brand new YouTube coaching program for entrepreneurs to help them grow their businesses through social media, specifically YouTube. The strategy I can talk about all day long, but when it comes to creating content, it would be better for me to show you than to tell you. And what I mean is, when it comes to this stuff, I can talk the talk, but now I need to walk the walk. And besides that, I'm revamping and adding more value to one of my programs that helps YouTube creators accelerate their growth and their income. Plus, I'm writing 2 books, one on maximizing your influence and income with YouTube, and another book about how to start a YouTube channel. And to top all of that off, I need to finally create my own content on YouTube and on the other platforms. So after I said all that, Raven looked at me sideways and said, well, I don't know about that. What did you say earlier this week or last week? We were at a meeting and I explained to you like all the stuff that I was going to get done between now and the end of the year for my business. And your response was,
I basically said, but are you really going to do it? Because I know that you're really good at researching, planning, conceptualizing, and knowing, figuring out how to do things that you may not even know how to do. But the problem is the execution and just actually putting it into play and sticking to it and seeing it to fruition. So I was like, but are you really going to do all those things?
well, that sounded like a challenge to me. So consider that challenge accepted. But why am I telling you all of this? I think that by sharing my experiences, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, what I'm figuring out along the way, that if you're a small business owner or a solopreneur like myself, you might just be able to relate and you can also learn with me along the way. Oh, and I'm posting my entire experience over on TikTok. So if you're interested, you can follow me there. But what I want to do right now is to share a recap of my first 7 days on this journey. And let me tell you, I hit the ground running. After I decided on my goals, the books, the course, the new program, the content, I needed a plan. So on day 1, I created my little game plan. And what this is a simple list of all the things I want to get done, but with a little more details built in. My list had to create an additional module with additional lessons for my YouTube program, film and post 16 YouTube videos, film and post 100 to 150 pieces of short form content, write the books, start creating the educational content for the YouTube for Entrepreneurs coaching program. And it took me about 3 to 4 hours or so to think through and to come up with this plan, because I'm pretty good at planning. But as I said, part of my game plan is to post at least 16 YouTube videos and a whole bunch of short form content. I already had my list of topics that I wanted to talk about on YouTube, so on day 2, I started adding to that list, mainly thinking about short form content. And then I outlined a couple of YouTube videos, one on branding and one on niching. And then I came up with the idea for a ton of social media content. And that is taking nearly everything I know about growing a YouTube audience and breaking it down into 100 pieces of short form content. It's 100 tips to grow your YouTube channel. I think that was a great idea. But at first I wasn't sure if I could come up with 100 tips, but I did. And that's what happens when you start brainstorming. One thing becomes 2 things, becomes 10 things, becomes a boatload of other ideas. So after that, I outlined the additional content that I'm adding to my YouTube program, which is all about the different ways to earn money with your YouTube channel. I came up with 5 different sections on AdSense, affiliate income, memberships, brand deals, and selling your own stuff. So I wrote all of the content for the section on AdSense, and after that, I got my VA started on taking all the scripts and notes from my YouTube program and putting them into a document that is going to eventually become the book. I also had a telephone conference with a writer friend of mine who's on board to edit the book for me. The next part of my plan is filming and posting on social media. Now, this right here, talking to the camera, that's one of my least favorite things to do. But until AI can clone me, I just have to do it. So I quickly outlined one of my short form ideas and I filmed it 3 times. I feel like I am going to really struggle with this stuff, but I know that the more I do it, the better I'm going to get. I also realized that I have a big problem when it comes to organizing my notes. I like to write stuff on paper. I like to put things in my computer and Evernote. I like to use the Notes app on my phone, Google Drive, Dropbox, and let's not even talk about ClickUp where my team's tasks live. This mess has got to stop. I need to pick a place and stick to it. So I decided to lean into Dropbox and I created some folders there. I also created a system in ClickUp where all the tasks for my VA is going to live. On day 4, I played around with editing apps for my short form content. And since I want to repurpose my content on several different platforms, I didn't create the content inside of TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. The video that I created on day 3 was already saved to my hard drive. So I pulled it into Canva because I'm pretty comfortable with that. But then I learned that Canva didn't have an option to automatically add the on-screen captioning that I wanted. So I quickly let that go and switched over to the desktop browser version of CapCut. After an hour or so, fooling around with that, I finally ended up with a decent version of my video. And even though I probably won't be editing my own short form content, I always like to at least know how to do it so that I can give my VA detailed instructions. If you're interested in seeing that short form video that I labored over and filmed, it's called Knowing Your Why, and you can check it out over on TikTok. So on day 5, I discovered something really cool, at least for me and any other busy creator, and that is an app called Munch that helps with content repurposing. So what you do is you basically link or upload any long form content, and it's supposed to spit out up to 30 pieces of short form content that you can post to whatever platform, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts. And it already has the hashtags, some captions, some titles, and your on-screen captions. So I tested that out with a YouTube video podcast I had filmed with my daughter. I wasn't really expecting much because I had tried those so-called repurposing apps before. But let me tell you, I was blown away with Munch. Honey, AI has taken this stuff to a whole nother level. So I quickly signed up for the plan that's about $49 a month, and I started grabbing short form posts from some of my YouTube videos. So on day 6, I worked a little bit more on the system that I'm going to be using to get my VA on board with editing my content. The thing about setting up systems is that it feels really time consuming on the front end, but once you get everything worked out, everything runs a whole lot smoother in the long run. So day 7 was a super busy day for me. I met with the Raven Elise team for nearly 6 hours. I took an hour break, and then I hopped on 2-hour-long Zoom calls with the creators in my program. So the work that I got done on my business had to get done before 8 a.m. But found a little hack for that. While I was driving, I used the Notes app on my phone to dictate some chapters to my book, and I also dictated notes for another YouTube video that I want to film. So that's a recap of my first 7 days. I mean, I think I accomplished a lot. Well, I did have a little bit of a cheat code. It was a holiday weekend, and the Raven Elise team was off for an extra long weekend from Friday through Tuesday because our boss was out of town. So I put in the work over a long weekend, and I worked on a holiday because that's what you got to do when you run a business and when you're on a mission. So I've got a lot more to share with y'all about business planning, about working with VAs, about creating content for social media. So if any of this interests you, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. But I wanted to share with you what I learned so far because this is all about showing you that you can create content for social media even though you've got a lot of stuff going on. I learned that I need to get over myself. Not creating video content because my hair isn't acting right, or I don't have time to put on makeup, or I don't like the camera angles, or my lighting isn't perfect. None of this should slow you down. It's life. Deal with it. I learned that it takes a minute to figure out your technology. I spent more than a few hours fooling around with editing apps and other tools that I need to create my content. But I need to know how this stuff works, even if I'm not going to be using it regularly myself. I learned that organization is key. Having a plan in place to save your documents and your video files is really going to help you keep things moving along. I've wasted so much time looking for stuff that I know that I've saved, but I have no idea where it is. I also learned that done is better than perfect. As I'm getting more comfortable creating video content, I need to realize that ain't nobody watching me. These first few videos are not going to be seen by that many people. And most of the people who watch are going to be people who already know and love me. So I really don't need to impress them. I'll get better over time, hopefully. Next, I'm getting ready to head to Northern California on a workcation with a friend. And I hope to do a lot more planning and film some content while I'm there. So stay tuned.